Hello children! This month on Brain Food we are celebrating the new year. One common thing that people do at the beginning of each new year is to set goals for themselves. And that brings us to the first term of the day, resolution. Resolution is a noun that means determining upon an action or basically making a promise. Stay tuned for more ways to use the word resolution.
Hey guys, it's me, Scott. It's the start of a new year, and since we're all making resolutions at Brain Food, I've made a resolution to be healthier. Today, we're going to talk about how I can change my diet to be healthier using the Healthy Plate program. This is Andrea from IFAS. She's an expert on the Healthy Plate program. Andrea, what is IFAS?
So IFAS stands for the Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, and I work in a small part of that. So I work for the University of Florida in the Family and Consumer Sciences Department.
What does the Family and Consumer Sciences Department do?
We try to provide evidence-based information to help people eat healthier and improve their quality of life.
Tell me how I can use the My Plate program to eat healthier.
Well, one tool that you can use, you know how sometimes when things get broken, you need tools to fix them? So one thing that we have is a tool to help us eat healthier. So it's called the My Plate. And so what you do is you take your plate and then you base it off of the My Plate to help you figure out how much of each of the foods to eat. And these are the 5 food groups, so it includes all of them in one meal.
What is a food group within this My Plate program?
All the foods are categorized by the different nutrients that they have. And so for instance, vegetables have a lot of nutrients, so they're a big portion of our plate because they provide us with a lot of good things. So you'd want to have a lot of vegetables, a little bit of fruits, some protein, grains, and then your dairy or some source of dairy.
What if I don't like to eat vegetables?
Okay, well, it's hard. Sometimes a lot of adults don't like vegetables either, but there are different ways to have them, and you can try cooking them different ways, or you can try new vegetables. There's not just 1 or 2 vegetables, so there's a whole variety, a whole rainbow, and so you can try them and then try them different ways, and maybe you like spicy stuff, or you like peppery stuff, or you like sweet stuff, so you might try just adding a little dip or sauces or seasonings when you're cooking. Try it different ways.
What types of fruit are best for me to eat?
Well, the most important thing on fruits is you can eat any of them just to try to have different colors, so you get to eat the rainbow.
What about the grains? What falls within that group?
So grains are things that give us energy. So maybe for breakfast you had cereal or a piece of toast. Those are things that will give us energy throughout the day. But it's important to have little bits of grains throughout your day to keep giving you that energy.
Are there some cereals that are better than others?
Yes, definitely. You want to try to look on the label, the nutrition label, and you can ask your parents or your teacher about the nutrition label to help you find how much sugar it has. Because sometimes sugar tastes good, but when we get too much, we get energy that doesn't last as long. So we want to try to sweeten our cereal with things like fruit, which is naturally sweet.
What is protein?
So protein is something that you definitely need in your body to help build your bones and your muscles and just help keep that energy lasting also. And so it's important to choose protein that doesn't have a lot of fat because we don't want additional fat that way. So things like fish or nuts or chicken without the skin would be great choices.
I noticed that dairy is off to the side of the plate. Why is it separated from the rest of the food?
Well, sometimes people like to have it as snacks, or you can put it within your meal too. And just the important thing about dairy is to try to get your calcium so you can have strong bones. So even if you can't drink milk or your family doesn't buy it very much, you can get calcium in other things like cheese or yogurt or things like almond milk or soy milk.
This is really great. But how do I make sure that my parents buy the right types of foods to make up healthy meals?
That's a good question, and sometimes it's hard because your parents often decide what they serve you, right? but you can help them get involved in cooking in the kitchen, or ask them if you can go grocery shopping with them, because sometimes you might have ideas of things that you like that they didn't even know you would be willing to try. So you can try to look at their cart and make sure that they have a rainbow in there.
Can I drink fruit juice instead of eating fruit?
You can, but it's better to have the real fruit, because when you have juice, you lose a lot of the good stuff. You know, when you squeeze the orange, there's a lot of the orange that you have to throw away. And so you just want all the nutrients that are in that fruit too. You don't just want the stuff in the juice of it. So the juice is okay, but the real fruit is better.
If I want to learn more about healthy food and the My Plate program, how can I find out more information?
Well, you can go to a website called choosemyplate.gov, which will give you a bunch of stuff that we talked about, and even more with things like recipes that you or your family might like. So you can check those out. And if you have any questions, you can always call us at the extension. I'd be happy to help.
Thanks so much, Andrea. I can't wait to start eating more healthy. And if you guys want to be healthier in the new year, ask a parent to help you visit the Choose My Plate website, and you can get on the right track together. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hey guys, it's me, Ariana, and I'm here at Exploration's 5 Children's Museum for this segment of Senses Overdrive. This is Sue. She's going to be helping us with our activity today. So Sue, what do you have us doing?
This is a simple machine today, so you could kind of use this as a party trick or whatever you wanted, but we're going to see if you are strong enough. If I hold these sticks right here, are you strong enough to pull them together while I'm trying to pull them away from you?
Ooh, I think I can. I'll try. Okay. Oh my goodness, this is harder than I expected.
It takes some work.
Yes, it does.
So a simple machine is something that makes work easier. Okay. So we're going to use this piece of rope here, and we're going to use it as a pulley, wrap it back and forth around the 2 poles, and then we'll see if you try again if it takes less work to pull these together, if you can actually do it. Just put the rope right there. There you go. Loop it around. All right, now I'm going to hold them apart, and you're going to try and pull, see if you can make it easy.
Okay.
You ready? Ooh. Is it easier for you?
It is. It's definitely a
little
lot
harder.
Easier.
All right, there we go. Good job. What if instead of just 1 loop, what if you tried 2 loops? That would be the same as having extra pulleys.
Then you would
so
have
you
to
think
pull
that's your guess? It would make it a lot easier?
I think so.
All right. All right, so there you got 2 full loops.
2?
Yep. You want to try 3?
Yes.
All right. Okay. You think you're going to... Help, I can't hold out against you.
It's definitely a lot easier.
Easier for you.
Yes.
Much harder for me to hold on when you're pulling with that. So you prove the fact that using a simple machine makes work a whole lot easier.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was so much fun. And if you really want to put your senses into overdrive, come here to Exploration's 5 Children's Museum in downtown Lakeland. See you again soon. Bye-bye.
Resolution is a noun that means determining upon an action or deciding what you are going to do. For instance, Steve made a resolution to eat 1 piece of fruit a day, a resolution which he broke only 1 week later. Stay tuned for the next term of the day.
Hey kids, are you ready to play Where's That At? The game show quiz that takes you around the world. Now today's game is all about getting out and being more adventurous, so we're going to take you to some of the most adventurous places in the world. Alright, let's do this. Question number 1. This country is located in South America and can lead you on an adventure to the world's highest waterfall called Angel Falls. You can take a hike through the dense jungle or visit many of the sandstone Table Mountains. During your hiking, you will encounter many unique plants and rare species of frogs. Is it A, Algeria, B, Venezuela, or C, Romania? It's B, Venezuela. Venezuela is located at the northern tip of South America. Because it is so close to the Earth's equator, its landscapes are filled with dense jungles. Its beautiful green forest and sandstone mountains that seem to shoot straight out of the earth are like pages right out of a book. In fact, the famous book, Lost World, by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, a story of dinosaurs and man-like apes, was actually based on the Venezuelan landscape. Okay, on to question number 2. This country lays a little bit south and about 1,200 miles east of Australia in the South Pacific Ocean. If you plan to take an adventure on this small island country, then you better bring your camera. Beautiful rolling hills, majestic snow-capped mountain peaks with beautiful glaciers, winding rivers, and forests that look like they have never been seen before are all part of the adventure. Is it A, New Zealand, B, Ukraine, or C, Greenland? It's A, New Zealand. And if you're thinking, wow, New Zealand sounds like an amazingly beautiful place that would be perfect for a fantasy world movie about little people who travel across vast lands to dispose of jewelry so that the bad guys can't take over the world, then apparently you have the exact same idea as the creators of the movie trilogy, The Lord of the Rings. New Zealand served as the perfect backdrop for this tale of fantasy and heroism and provides the perfect location for more than 3.5 million adventure seekers each year. Well, now you know a little bit more about the South American country of Venezuela and the island country of New Zealand. That's about all the time we have for this episode of Where's That At? I'll see you next time.
Hello and welcome to Story Time. Today's story is called Randy Makes a Resolution. Usually, river otters glide gracefully through water, but Randy was not in a graceful mood. No, today Randy stomped and splashed his way upriver, muttering to himself as he went. "Homework's bad enough," he grumbled, "but homework you don't understand is just stupid." And with that, he sat down hard on the bank of the river. Still frustrated, he threw himself back against the ground and stared up at the clouds, heaving a big, irritated sigh. "Do you mind?" came a small but firm voice from above. Randy blinked several times and tried to shift his focus from the clouds to his more immediate surroundings. A rather large spider web came into view. It was covered in drops of water and swayed wildly. He'd obviously hit it with his head on the way down. Still feeling angry, Randy resisted the urge to apologize and scanned the web for the spider. He eventually spotted her in the upper right-hand corner of the web. As it happened, he knew this particular spider, liked her because she was often friendly to him, and began to regret not having apologized. "Hi, Stella," he mumbled, managing a half-hearted smile. "Well," said the spider as she scuttled down through her web, avoiding the wet patches, "if it isn't Randy the Wrecking Ball." Randy winced. "Sorry, Miss Stella." The spider lowered herself down from the web on a single strand of silk and stopped right in front of the young otter's eyes. "And what's got you so riled up, Randy?" Randy opened his mouth to answer and then closed it again, his whiskers vibrating with agitation. "Something about homework, I think you said?" "Well, now I have to answer her," he thought, heaving another frustrated sigh. The small spider swayed back and forth in the breeze he had created with his breath. "We're supposed to make a New Year's resolution," he said, frowning hard. "Most people do this time of year," said the spider, resting her chin on one of her 8 spindly legs. The young otter's frown deepened. The spider's attention returned swiftly to her web. She scrambled quickly up the thread she'd been hanging from and darted over to the lower left corner of the web, where a fly was struggling to get free. The spider began to race around the fly, wrapping it up tight in her fine, thin silk.
While she worked, she chatted with the young otter as though nothing had changed. "A resolution," said Stella, "is a promise you make to yourself to start doing something good or stop doing something bad." Randy was torn. The spider was telling him what he needed to know, but he really hoped she wasn't going to eat in front of him. Watching Stella eat was, well, kind of disgusting. Luckily, the spider seemed to sense his discomfort and left the fly to struggle as she lowered herself once again to speak to the otter. "What's the point?" he asked. "In making a resolution?" The otter nodded. "The point is to make your life or someone else's life better," answered the spider. "For instance?" asked the otter. The spider rested her chin once again on one of her legs and thought for a moment. "Some people your age decide to help out around their house, although that's not a very good resolution." The otter scrambled back and sat up straight. "Why not? My mom would love that." The spider chuckled. "I'm sure she would. But a good resolution is specific and achievable. It's better to say, I'm going to set the table for dinner every night, or I'm going to help clean my room once a week. Those goals are more specific and as such are a promise that's easier to keep." The little otter nodded with excitement. "Then that's what I'll do," he said, walking to the water and sliding slowly into the river. When his head popped up from the water, he grinned at the spider. "A resolution like that will make both my mom and my teacher happy." "The trouble is," said the spider as she made her way back up to her web, "I feel as though I've just done your homework for you, and that's not right." "Don't feel that way, Miss Stella," said the young otter, paddling slowly in circles in front of her web, "'cause I'm going to make 2 resolutions this year." "You are?" "Yes, ma'am," said Randy, suddenly more serious. "I'm going to clean up my room every week, and I'm going to try and help someone at school every week, like you just helped me. I might not know much about resolutions, but I'm real good at math, and a lot of the other kids aren't." The spider smiled down at the young otter. "Well now, that's a fine idea, Randy." "Yes, ma'am," said Randy, as he turned onto his back and paddled away, waving as he went. "That way, I figure we both made a resolution." Have you made any New Year's resolutions? It's not too late. Remember, a new year is like a blank piece of paper. So take your pen in your hand and write yourself a brand new story.
Our first term of the day was resolution, which means determining an action to take. Our second term of the day is regimen. Regimen is a regulated course like a diet or exercise routine. Many people create daily regimens of exercise so they can stick to their New Year's resolution of exercising more.
Hey kids, welcome to Power Up. This month on Brain Food, we're all making New Year's resolutions, and my resolution is to dance every day. So I learned a bunch of new dance moves to share with you today. Follow along and you can practice them for your next school dance. enjoyed learning these new dance moves. I'll see you next time on Power Up.
Welcome to Simple Snacks. My name is Bo, and today we're making something sweet and crunchy. The snack is called Apple Moons, and it tastes as yummy as it sounds. For our ingredients today, we're going to need an apple, peanut butter, granola, and cinnamon. When you pick out an apple, you want to squeeze it firmly. If it's hard, that means it's sweet. Get one of your parents to help you out and slice the apple for you. My apple is already sliced. So now that we have our apple cut and ready, let's move on to our peanut butter. You can use almond butter if you have that at home. It'll taste just as good, but we'll use the peanut butter with us today. Let's unscrew the jar, and this is where we want to grab our knife after we put the lid down. With our knife, we want to take some peanut butter from the jar and spread the peanut butter out onto the slices. We only want the peanut butter on one side of the apple. Make sure it's the wide, flat side too, because we're going to be putting some more ingredients on top of the peanut butter. We'll want a lot of space for those. The peanut butter has been spread on our apple slices, so we'll take this granola that we have on the side, and we're going to scoop some with our hands and sprinkle it on top of the peanut butter. Some granola comes with bits of dried fruit in it, and you can use that granola too. That just means your crescents are going to be extra good. Our last step for our apple moons is the cinnamon. You want to ask your parent for help because too much of this sweet spice may be too spicy for you. Take the cinnamon and sprinkle just a little bit onto the slices. Be very gentle of how you sprinkle it because you don't need a lot for it. Let's try it together. Wow, that tastes so good! Not only does it taste amazing, but it's packed with vitamins and nutrients that are also good for you. I think I'll be making this a lot at home. Don't forget to thank your parents for all of their help. That's it for today. Tune in next month for another simple snack.
Our second term of the day was regimen. A regimen is kind of like setting up a strict routine so you can reach all the goals you set. For example, to reach his goal of losing 5 pounds, Dion created a daily regimen of waking up at 6 a.m., eating a healthy breakfast at 6:15, and then exercising for 30 minutes at 6:30.
Hey kids, I'm here with Dion and we're gonna dive into a special little activity. Now, Dion, I was thinking last episode for Christmas, we did a lot of music and a lot of singing. And it got me thinking, how do we create sound with our voices? And then in addition, how do we hear sound with our ears? But in order to understand how sound vibrates, we need to kind of think about how we produce sound. So to start with, our sound that we create comes by pushing air through our vocal cords. Now our vocal cords are located, right in your neck there.
Somewhere around here.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them there, and what happens when we push air through those vocal cords, they vibrate. And that vibration creates waves. So there's actually things happening in the air as we push sound out of our mouths. So in order to create low sounds, what we do is we loosen those vocal cords. We make them really soft and flabby so that they vibrate a whole bunch.
Right.
So go ahead, make a low sound for us.
All right.
So what you're doing there is you're relaxing those vocal cords and letting them just kind of mush.
Yeah, and
create that low sound.
It's interesting if you sing on your own, you can kind of feel it towards the back of your throat when you do a lower pitch. It kind of opens up and it does become flabby, for lack of a better word there.
Now, Dion, how do you think you create a high sound then?
You would probably tighten it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, so you would stretch those vocal cords real tight, and all this is happening inside your throat. So you would stretch those real tight so that you make tiny little vibrations. And those little vibrations create a high-pitched sound. Go ahead and try that.
Ah!
When those air waves are produced, they come through the air and they hit our ears. And this is really amazing how this happens. Our ears actually pick up the airwaves that goes into our ears and it hits our eardrum. And it's just like the top of a drum. You know, you'd hit that and it would cause a sound. So that drum picks up those vibrations, moves a couple little bones inside your ear, and then sends those vibrations to little hairs. And those little hairs pick up the vibrations and tell your brain what sound it is. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, that's a big process there. Lots of stuff working.
To illustrate this, we have a little guitar here. This is a bass guitar. It works out really nice because you can see these strings vibrate a lot easier on the bass guitar because they're big giant strings.
Yes.
Now, as I loosen, you can see the vibration. As I loosen the string, those vibrations get bigger. You can see the string vibrating more, and the sound actually gets lower. See how loose that is and how low that sound becomes.
Right, just like we were talking about with the vocal cords.
It's the exact same thing as the vocal cords. So as I tighten it, you'll see that string get tighter, those vibrations get smaller, and the sound gets higher.
Very cool.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Cymatics is all about the visualization of sound. So there are a lot of different ways to do this. What we're going to do today is we're going to use a speaker and different frequencies to show how those vibrations are replicated in water.
Cool.
We're going to put the tray on top of the speaker.
All right.
And then we're going to very carefully fill it with water so that we can see the vibrations in the water. That's good right there.
All right.
Okay, so what we have now is we've got our sound that's going to come through the computer and create our vibrations.
Okay.
So Dion, if you'll switch me places here.
Yep.
Now you tell me what happens. We're going to start with 40 hertz. This is a really low sound. So you can see those vibrations.
Yeah, you see the vibrations coming through. They're pretty, they're kind of light right now. They're pretty loose looking.
Now that is 60 hertz. And you see the vibrations suddenly become different.
They're a little more intense now.
Right, and we can amplify that by turning the sound up. Now we're looking at 80 hertz.
That one's
and you can
really
see
cool.
how much different the vibrations look and the different patterns that it creates. Now we're going to go to 96 hertz, where it's a little bit more difficult to see, so we'll crank up the volume a little bit. But you can see how the pattern changes, and it's much different than the 80 hertz.
Wow, that's really, really cool. All right, Steve, well, thanks for sharing that with us, and I hope that that got you guys thinking about the things that are all around us that you may not even be able to see. And there are lots of videos on how you can explore cymatics in a simpler way on the internet, so grab your parent and check those out at home. We'll see you soon.
I hope you enjoyed our New Year's episode. Making a resolution and setting up a regimen to reach your goals can be a lot of fun and very rewarding. What New Year's resolution are you going to make? Talk to your parents and tell them what you want to do this year, and they can help you along the way. Happy New Year. I'll see you next time for more terminology.